Alright, finally, this is the day I get to go pick up my 5.3 liter with a 4L60E transmission. It's aluminum block, aluminum heads. I wanted to lose some weight. So I'm just showing you, it's a cold day out. I was a little nervous about getting stuck in the mud. This guy's house is on farm. But in this video, I'm going to show you a lot of the prep I did. Because this is my daily driver, I wanted to do as much as I could so that I could just switch the engines out and then hook up things. But as you know, things don't usually go as planned. But so as the series goes along, I'll show you kind of a lot of prep work I did so that I wasn't stuck. I know a lot of guys that do these LS swaps get stuck and then things don't go well after that. So.
Alright, I'm here picking up my engine. Got a tire in there. We'll see how she goes. Little Coop over there. He's loading it on the tractor right now. Alright. Back from Stott City. Picked up my engine. Straps were not as tough as I thought they were going to be. Leaking power steering fluid everywhere. Hopefully it doesn't stain into the bed too much. But I forgot to bring my tarp, so I'm an idiot. Looking alright. It held up a lot better than I thought. It seems a little sketchy, but it is what it is. I know one thing that I'm a little worried about is this stud. I guess he had to cut it right there. He couldn't get it. I don't know. I couldn't get it off or something. Radiator. I might try to use it if I can make that work. Aluminum drive shaft down in there. Everything's jammed in here, so I'm gonna take a couple things off now and then take it over to my friend's shop. But I'm trying to get some things out and get it organized a little bit before we head over there. So I got more stuff in here, wiring, and gave me the glove box because it got the codes on it and all my information. So yep, pretty exciting. Gonna clean all this up, figure out what I'm gonna keep here and what I'm gonna take to my friends. That way I can work on some wiring here, maybe work on the gas pedal mount here. His house is really far away, so I don't want to drive there every day. Later. Hey, and we're back. I totally forgot to film stuff like usual. We got it out of the back of the truck. It's a war zone. A wood bed floor probably looks great. This is my boy Brandon.
What's up?
Grew up together. We're learning. I'll take blame for it. I put the wheels on the Chevy are on backwards, so steering's an issue. I'm leaking all over his floor. Old 68's over there, which is his 68. So we're just getting this set down. I might maybe, depending on how late it is, maybe take this harness off so I can take this harness home. But I think I already told you this is an LM4 5.3 liter all aluminum block. I wanted to lose some weight up front. I'm not going to keep the air conditioning. And I'm obviously going to clean that harness up and clean the whole engine up. Probably leave the truck intake on for now until maybe switch to the LS2 or the LS6 intake eventually. I don't know. Yeah. Yay. It's real exciting.
Don't judge the harness we strapped it up with.
Yeah, this is, I think GM sent us this. It's pretty nice. You know, sometimes you gotta make do. Alright. So here's some of the LS swap stuff. I'm doing the Jeep tank from an 87 to 90 Jeep Cherokee, I think. Wrangler, one of those two. You find it on the 67 truck forum. But it has the wrong fittings on it. So basically I have this quick connect Dorman line that I got. It comes together, but I cut it in two because I'm going to put this brake line flare on it so that I can hook it up to my sending unit, which is out of about the same year, I think 87 Chevy C10 full-size truck, which is like a 350 engine, but it's fuel injected. So I needed a different fitting, so I'm gonna use this union fitting. I'm also gonna cut the end off of the sending unit. I'll show you guys that later on today, and attach this. You know, if brake line can hold tons of pressure, I'm sure it can hold the 50 psi that the fuel line can. So I need to flare this end. I got the tool. I'm actually gonna bend it too, that way it sends it up the frame rail the way I want it to. That way I can save a lot of money instead of using those aluminum AN fittings, which every fitting I'm sure has issues from somebody. So, but I have the lines from the Envoy, so I'm going to use those lines to save money. Basically, I'll just bend them to shape. Hopefully the bends aren't too crazy. They seem actually really straight, because I think the rubber line runs all the way down to the frame. And then I'll just cut it and shorten it, and then wherever I shorten it at is where the fuel filter is going to go, because my LS is a return style. That means the regulator is up on the fuel rails and not on your frame. So it'll just be a fuel filter right there. So it'd be a way to save a lot of money, because I was thinking I was going to have to spend over $200, $300 on lines. These are brake fittings are expensive, so this union and these two pieces were about $15 at O'Reilly's. This piece I think was another $15. So that's $30 just for one piece. I'll show you guys more about my sending unit and stuff later on tonight. I'm just trying to stay busy right now, so I don't want to bring everything out. This is my gas filler. This came actually a lot longer. It came about this much longer and this much longer, but I'm gonna fit it. I'll show you where I'm gonna fit it. I'll show you on my long bed, even though it's the same on my short bed. I'm gonna fit this right here inside that square, and so I couldn't have it be very long. It would have hit the back. It still might hit the back. I'm not totally sure yet. This is kind of a pain so far. Hopefully I can get it all to work out. I might actually cut it farther up here. That way it's fatter. My line's a little big. So it's gonna sit right here. That way I can fill it from the back. But you don't have a ton of room. It sits behind your light, so it's not a big issue. But that way it'll run down, and then my tank is gonna be down here, but on the short bed. The short bed is just too low. I can't show you guys anything on it. So my tank will be right there. That's what I'm gonna work on the next couple days. Put a little flare on here. If you've never used one of these tools, it kind of looks like this, and you got these little pieces that go in to crimp it. I used to not like these. I'm starting to get used to it a little bit more after I've done a lot of brake lines. So if you never flared anything, that's how it ends up. Alright, I told you I'll show you the sending unit. So this is a sending unit from 87 C10. This main fuel line, return fuel line, emissions or airline, another airline. Not running that. Well, I might end up running this for my, probably not. Your fuel pump sits right here, hooks up to this connection, hooks up to this line. Here's your wiring. Here's your float and your lever. Basically, this has the wrong kind of fitting on it for me. So I need that flare I just showed you. I'm gonna flare this so it goes on there. This will actually hopefully stick right to the end of my tank and face down or back. That way I can get to it easier. You can see how these are different. These have a little O-ring and another layer, so I can't use those. I'm going to try to flare this without bending it all out. I'm just gonna have to cut it really straight, which is gonna be a little hard, but I think I'm gonna use this to kind of hold it in place and then cut. So that's what I'm working on. I need these quick neck fittings instead of those. You see the difference? GM uses some little press-on clips. Yay. So I know on the forum they kind of loosely explain that, but hopefully that gives you a little better idea of something you can work to save yourself a ton of money. So try to get your fuel lines off your engine swap whenever you do. That way you can save yourself some money. These are my two part numbers: Dorman 800-155, Dorman 800-154. This is your return line, 5/16. This is your 3/8, your feed line. I showed you guys earlier. I cut these in half. I'm gonna keep these other two, put a fitting on, flare them, and just have them in backup in my truck, for in case something happens, or also if I do another swap or something, which I'm not against. I'll have them. It'll save some time. That way I can use the quick connect fittings instead of the AN fittings. I don't like the price of those. I also don't want to run the braided line and do all that crap. So I'd rather run hard line. I like it. I've dealt with it a bunch. So there's my flaring tool setup. I'll take you inside and show you the gas tank in a second. This is what I'm using as my gas filler. I'll see if you can. I don't know what you guys can see, but basically you just push on the bottom, open it. I did show you guys I had to cut this down. I don't like this fit yet. I haven't totally figured it out. I bought this little 45 degree, I think it was 3/4 inch is what it said. That must be the inner diameter, because it butts up to this 1.5 and steps down to this outside is 1 inch. That way maybe it will fit in that box support in the back. So I'm gonna get some rubber. I think I'm gonna try to get some radiator line. That way I can get something real small. Hose clamp these two together, and then try to find a 1 inch fuel line to run down to my tank, because that's what the neck on my gas tank is for the Jeep, the 8790 Jeep. So that was my solution I came up with. But this, the outlet coming out, I think is 5/8 or something. It says it's 5/8, that is not. It's smaller. So I'm gonna try to figure out. I have a couple ideas. I also don't have a lot of room, so I need to make sure that whatever I put on there works. This also comes with a template. It actually mounts this way. That way you can drill and cut your hole in your, and wherever you're putting it. I think this is actually for a boat. I think they use the smaller line, that's why. So that's what I'm working on. I'll show you guys some more. This is my electric fan. I know it's kind of small. My engine's not crazy. I'm gonna try to fit that in front of the radiator. If that doesn't work, whatever, I'll get a new fan. But I've had this for, I don't know, 10 years. I've never run it. I bought it for a 68 project I had. I never used it. So I'm going to try to get it to fit in front. I'm trying to keep my engine bay as clean and empty as possible. I've kind of test fitted up there before. There's the support that runs up to your your latch mechanism. It's kind of in the way, but I should be able to get it to fit. But this is all my crazy wiring harness. 2 boxes of it. One is inside. I'm not going to use it, but I think the tack module, it was in it, is what the guy was saying. I haven't really dug through any of this. I'm trying to finish the long bed before I get into the short bed, because once I get in the short bed, I'll be way more excited. Even though I was really excited today when the 327 started up. My fire extinguisher. I don't know if it works, but I thought the truck might catch fire today whenever I started it up, so I got it out. So Hope you guys enjoyed. Alright, so I told you guys about that elbow fitting that I was working on. So basically, it's really fat, and give me one sec. I'll see if I can show you guys. I don't know if you can see that, but basically it overhangs, and I don't want anything to cause like turbulence on the gas going in. I don't want any reason that it's gonna spit gas back out, especially on my wood bed floor and just in general. That would suck, because I want to be able to put the neck of the fuel pump down in there smoothly. So what I'm doing is I'm using this grinding bit and kind of smoothing out that corner. So if you're trying to do this swap on the cheap, that's my idea. That's what I'm going with. Alright, some more short bed action. Basically, I'm trying to get this filler to sit right up in here. So part of the problem is when my door is shut, it's going to be way down here, and this little ridge is making it sit kind of flush but almost out a little. So we'll get it as close as I can, but it might have to stick out on this edge just a touch. Can't really do much about it, but they send you a little template right there. But I'm trying to make it so that it's bigger. I want to be able to attach my hoses and my clamps and slide it in there instead of trying to put it in and then every semi trucks come by my house. I'm trying to have it so the hose is attached and then slide it in instead of cutting holes in here. I saw one guy cut a hole in there so that he could get to this hose clamps. I'm trying to avoid that if I can. So I'm gonna try this first, see how that goes. If it becomes an issue, I'll deal with it then. So got a couple tools out. This is my wood bed that I did. It did not like the UV. It did look like that. Later when we get underneath the truck, I'll show you guys more what it used to look like. You can kind of see in the corners, but man, that sun really blew through that polyurethane. And then when I picked up my engine, it sprayed oil everywhere. So yeah, it's my happy face. So I'm gonna try to get this in. That way I can run my hoses. I got my tank. I wanna hang my tank in the next day or two. To tell you the truth, it's supposed to be warm, so I'm gonna try to get a lot of stuff done. Maybe run my exhaust from the back up. So I marked this off. I actually kind of offset it just barely this way. That way I make sure my tailgate can shut. If it overhangs right here, it's not the end of the world, just a touch. Obviously I want it to look nice, but it's kind of wide. I marked all of those. I didn't really want to use the template. I feel like a paper template is not the best, so measured everything out. I'm using these self-tapping screws. I drilled the hole pretty small. Used a punch, drilled the hole, self-tapping screws, and then I'm going to mark the center of this, where the hole goes, and then cut out as much as I can so that hopefully I can feed this in with all my hoses attached. Alright, maybe this will give you a little idea of what's going on. I made my center hole, which is that hole. I made this way bigger. I think that's plenty of metal. I'm actually going to take it all the way out to these lines. I got a little off center here, but I want to make sure I have plenty of room to slide that in. Structurally, I think it's totally fine. It's just holding a plastic piece in, a little bit of hose. So next, I have a hole saw. All I had is a 2-inch hole saw. This asked for, I don't know, 2 1/16. So once I get that close, I'm gonna bring the die grinder out and open that up some more and smooth everything out. So just a heads up. And there's plenty of room. I have some wiring for my backup light coming through, so I gotta make sure that's out of the way. Hopefully that's fine whenever I run the hoses through. Basically, tailgate shuts, gas tank filler neck is right there. Push up, Thought I had a spring in there. I don't know if I messed that up, but that way I can still fill my gas, hopefully, in here. But closes. It looks all right. Hopefully, when everything's painted, it won't stand out. And obviously, it doesn't stand out when everything's shut. But when the door's open, it kind of stands out. Kind of cheesy. But hopefully, everything bends and fits. You see how I was saying there's not a ton of room in here. So I'm gonna actually test fit my gas tank in a second and hang that. All right, give you guys a little tour of the fuel system. I'm getting my other hose in today. This is gonna sit in here. I tried to open that as much as I can. It's a really tight fit, but basically, sorry, I can't pull that out. 1-inch fuel line. I think that's 5/16 vent line. This is the opening. Hopefully that's enough air vent. I used a smaller one because I wanted to be able to access it from the top. Basically, I opened up a hole down there that was already there. These are both going to run up in here and then over to my tank. I'll show you guys a little video afterward, but there's my tank all mounted up. Last one I made. These are stainless button head bolts. Almost done.